Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Good evening. Welcome back here to a Wednesday night, February 19th, 2025 is the date, 8:48 p.m. That's local time here in California. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a little point 0.7. Not a 7 magnitude, but just below the 1.0 threshold. That's the latest quake on the globe there. Taking a look at the Santorini seismograph station there around Greece. Looks like things starting to calm down slightly here, at least in the last 4 hours or so. Now we still are looking at a little bit of earthquake activity ramping up out there. A total of 830 earthquakes there in the last few days around the Santorini, Greece area. A little pause compared to the past couple weeks where we had elevated earthquake activity. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the last couple magnitudes around the area. Looks like mainly some 2s and 1s, even a couple 3s out there, but staying pretty consistent there with the depth of the earthquakes there. Nothing of any large magnitudes. Mostly 2s and 3s out there is noted on the Raspberry Shake station here. You can also check out another seismograph station. This one may have a little bit longer period of quake data. And as you can see, a little bit less active. Now, this seismograph station may not be picking up some of the 2s or even some of the smaller quakes, but we're still seeing those. But compared to days past, well, looks like things are finally starting to mellow out here a little bit. But with no main event, all these thousands upon thousands of earthquakes, no eruption, no big quake. Gonna have to watch this, see how long it stays quiet for. I don't think it's gonna just completely die off like this. I believe there's ultimately a reason for all that swarming that's been taking place there, and I still feel that's associated with the some type of magma intrusion underneath the region. So we'll see what happens with that as time goes on. Right. All right. Let's double check West Coast here for earthquake activity. Northern California pretty quiet right now. Not a whole lot going on there. Got one earthquake from this morning around the Oregon area. Very shallow crustal quake here associated with the strain out here along the Cascadia subduction zone. On that note, let me double check the tremor map here tonight. Cascadia tremor. See what we have. 34 epicenters. Not that big of a number. Considerable downgrade from the past couple days where we had a number of epicenters of tremor underneath this area in the couple hundred range. So things calming down there for now. Not seeing any earthquake activity across the area through the Pacific Northwest. A lot quieter as well. Only a couple smaller quakes. As we look at the rest of California down here, 2.5 map and above, well, that removes pretty much all the earthquakes. Only a handful of smaller quakes out there in the last 24 hours. A little bit of quiet activity right now, but it comes and goes. Yellowstone National Park, nothing showing up there on the map, but I do want to double check that real quick just to make sure. And I think we're right. Not a whole lot of activity stirring up out there. A couple smaller spikes here in the last few hours, but those are super small, so not a whole lot of earthquake activity happening there. Texas oil fields look roughly about the same. As far as any major uptick here in the last 24 hours around the globe, still a lot of activity stirring up in the Indonesia Islands area, Java Trench. This is one of the latest quakes there on the map for a 5.3 off the northern coast here of Sumatra. I think over the past 7 days or so, kind of watched the earthquakes migrate northward here along this plate boundary to where we're at right now with the latest quake. But that's it. I mean, that's a 5.3 here for the largest quake in the last 24 hours. That's fairly minimal if you really think about it. Alaska's still seeing a bunch of earthquake activity up here in the smaller range, but a lot more active than normal up there across the Aleutian Trench and northward. I wouldn't doubt it. We start seeing some larger activity out here along that subduction zone. 4.7 out here late last night. Just getting a handful of earthquakes stretching all the way north up into the Fairbanks area. Got a little swarm going on up here near Living Good, Alaska. Love that name. Some ones, and even the latest quake right now, a 3.0 or 3.1. So keep an eye there on the Alaska area. There is a region that's showing some elevated movement right now across the rest of the globe. Typical activity here across the Middle America Trench. Same for the South America region, the Atlantic Ocean. A couple smaller earthquakes out here in the northern Mid-Atlantic Ridge area. There's that swarming going on across the Santorini area. Starting to die down, but like I say, it's I think it's just in a little state of pause right now. Some movement down in South Africa, 3.1. Also out here in the Indian Ocean. This little fracture zone out here, the Mid-Indian Rift Zone. That 5-pointer. So even though we got a little bit of earthquake activity here in the last 24 hours, no big movement to speak of. Hawaii, let's see. I'm kind of curious if we've gone to an eruption stage yet. Deformation data is still going up. No eruption as of yet. Otherwise, we would see that go down, similar to our past events there. But it's got to be getting close. Got to be getting close to the episode number 10 in terms of the eruption status out here in the last few weeks. Quick glance at the webcam there at the summit area. I know it's dark out there, but we'll just double check, see. Well, it looks like it's almost dark. It's actually a little early here, huh? 9 p.m. Normally I'll put out an update here around 10 or so, but figured I'd get an early one in. There's some type of lava way down in that, looking down into that crater area. So it could be getting close to the eruption status. Look at that. So pretty soon, I think, probably by tonight or by the end of tonight, we should see the return of an eruption status here across Kilauea Volcano up at the summit area. Quick glance at the space weather activity. Just going to try and keep this short tonight, folks. Not a whole lot of flaring going on. If we look at the solar flare chart, only a number of C flares out here. Fairly minimal conditions prevailing. Not a whole lot of complex sunspots out here either. So it's just one of those things here. We're entering into a little quiet phase of solar flaring activity. Not really expecting much here, folks. Just these guys showing a 10%, highly unlikely, 40% chance there for an M flare. No major roars there in the forecast for now. And maybe looking out on the eastern limb, looks like some magnetic lines here shooting up well above the area of that sunspot. Might be an active area here in the coming days. We'll have to keep our eyes open, see what happens, and see what comes around the eastern limb here in the days ahead. As far as any major severe weather goes, well, got a lot of cold air dipping down here across the eastern portion of the country. Maybe a little bit more rain for the Pacific Northwest here, it looks like, as we head towards the weekend. Just a mixed bag of weather out here. Maybe a little storm system or two entering into March here for the West Coast. That'd be good. I need a little bit more rainfall before it hits 115 degrees. And still a lot of colder air venturing down here from Canada, dipping south. So winter is not done. March can be a super cold month. Very wet for us out here as well. April, just the same. So we'll see what those 2 months have in store for us. But looks like things are going to be mixing up out there as far as the pressure differences go. Aside from that, folks, seismograph stations there look pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on there right now. And not a whole lot going on across the Santorini, Greece area. Numbers are going down. We've seen it on the seismograph station there. A little bit of migration south here across the area, but overall pattern right now seems to be dwindling. But that could be, due to a number of different things. We could have reached maybe potential maximum pressurization underneath this area, and it may sit like that, or it may escalate. But we'll just have to keep an eye on it, see what happens here in the coming days. But Really, no large earthquake activity to report across this region. Still seeing earthquakes, obviously, but as far as anything of larger magnitudes, it looks like that's dying off for now. But don't let your guard down. We'll continue to watch that and keep an eye on it. That's it, folks. Hope everyone has a good evening out there. I'm going to call it a night. Pretty busy day tomorrow, which is Thursday here. And then we've got the weekend coming up. So still not quite back to normal in terms of the this little cough or adjustment going on here across my voice box. It's just been hitting me hard this winter. But hopefully that will go away soon enough. In the meantime, folks, have a good one. And we'll catch you guys out here sometime tomorrow for the Thursday morning update. Take care.